Hey, this is Notser, and we are in the Zao. Now, the Zao is the Tier 10 Japanese cruiser, and it is by far one of the best rewards for a line in the game, let alone the Japanese cruiser line, which happens to be very solid. And here's my build on the screen. Typical Zao build. Now, granted, I haven't really adjusted it. I didn't go rate of fire or anything like that. Just absolutely insane because the turret traverse. It's really a big deal. It's gotta be. Unfortunately, that is the weak point of Japanese cruisers. They're very nimble, but you have to wait on the guns. And I didn't want to wait any more on the guns, so I went with range. And in this game, we're going to see how effective range actually is. Now, enemy Amagi apparently has either pulled a Notser or wants to pretend like they did, and I'm not going to fire unless I can confirm every single person in my maximum range is out of line of sight. And unfortunately, since it's basically half the map, we do extend our range and people see us. But the team does capture C point. We set a fire. Clearly the fire is not going on. How do you know that? Top right corner. There is no dot continuing. The damage counter is remaining the same. In World of Warships, if you're familiar with World of Tanks, in World of Tanks, spotted damage is displayed. Unspotted damage is not communicated to the player. That is not the case in World of Warships. Unspotted damage is absolutely communicated to the player. So dots on a target, if they drop off detection, if they're in smoke, all these things are considered, and you get real-time information, and that's really important. So we know that the Amagi was set on fire, and people continue to set him on fire. Because he aggressively put out one fire, he's now going to suffer. And I would highly suggest, please do not put out one fire when you are dealing with multiple cruisers that are remaining in the operation. It is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. I've got 20 to 23% fire chance. You might call me a fire starter. And we're going to start some fires on the enemy Arpeggio, Takao. This is, of course, the Atago. It's a great ship. Don't really see any reason to switch to AP unless he's perfectly broad. I do sense that he wants to be perfectly broad, so I do switch to AP. I don't know if that was the right choice. Because the HE is so good, you don't need to be overly aggressive when swapping. And oh gosh, are we really going to do this, aircraft carrier? Are we really going to do this? He's slightly angled away, so I elevate the guns. But oh yeah, I think we know where it's going. Yeah, if I would have had HE, I probably would have done more damage with that salvo. It's just one of those things you really need to consider and not autopilot. You got to consider the ship you're in. Of course, the aircraft carrier drops on us. Of course, it's two fires. Of course, I put it out and I use my heal. So we're going to pull back. I don't want to die. I don't want to keep whatever might be out there trying to go after me. I want to pull back. And yep, he has torpedoes. Of course. Of course he has torpedoes. And what do you bet? He wants to go for me. So we got our aircraft up. Oh, great. More aircraft. Oh, well, by the time he's going to get here, our damage control should be up fairly soon. I would like to not take torpedoes, and I was like, surely he's not going to go after me. Oh, yeah. He's going after me in between three. And I think he dropped too close. He dropped too close. Now, one still hits, but he dropped too close. Two of the three failed to even activate before it hit, and by the time everything went down, damage control was up. We got lucky, and that guy, he was way too aggressive on me. I was not screaming in chat, but I was suggesting that felt targeted. And maybe it is. You're Notser. You're a tier 10 cruiser that is probably the lowest health in the area. Of course he's going to target you. I would target myself. You take a good player out of the fight, it's going to be easier for your team to succeed. But when a player goes through 3 or 4 cruisers like that, that's not an intelligent thing to do. you're going to be taking a lot of damage that you don't need to take. Surely there's going to be someone who is isolated or ready to die. And this enemy, Amagi, is certainly ready to die. He's got, what, 3 fires on his ship? He's trying to heal it. I don't know if he's going to heal it. I sort of paused for half a second, figuring that he wouldn't heal it and he would die, but he does indeed die to the dot damage of the fires, and we can progress towards the center of the map. There's a great island that's blocking most of the enemy as they're pulled back. Really try and make more use of islands as they protect yourself. They allow for great angles of engagement. I can't really stress, a good player, a great player, will make use of every obstacle in the enemy's way in order to sustain their life, block line of sight, do as much damage as you can. Try to do that. Really look for those angles. Really exploit that fact, and you will succeed a ton. Absolutely a ton. I'm surprised by how successful I am at times, because all I'm doing is noticing, okay, this enemy Amagi is overextended. Most of his team cannot assist him. I would like to not line of sight him with the island, so I'm going to cut in short. Clearly, that's going to overextend my ship to some extent, and I will have to deal with those consequences, but it's going to allow me to do more damage. And, of course, he's broadside, so switching to AP, and, enemy aircraft. I wonder if he wants to go for me. My assumption would be go for the Der Grosse. He's isolated. He's also threatening. That's where the aircraft carrier needs to go. But they could break all the rules if they want to kill me or kill you or anyone else, so you got to be ready. Watch him like a hawk. And it does indeed look like, and yet you could see, oh, you're not going to do that crap to me. No, you're not. Of course, he's not going to do that crap to me because friendly is dead. Enemy Amagi still burning down. Is he going to die to me? That's the real question. Oh, no, he put it out. Oh, did he? Is there fire? Is that smokestack? Either way, fire the broadside. Of course, the island's in the way. Enemies try to return fire. Not today, my friend. Got HE loaded. I was afraid that the enemies would come and cut the corner quickly, so I wanted to just send torpedoes to fill it up. We do take out the enemy Amagi. I want to be careful. These guys are rotating around the island quickly, and oh yeah, enemy Alabama really wants me. I want the enemy Atago first. Enemy aircraft carrier also going after us. He set the guy on fire. Most likely he's going to put it out. Most likely he's going to put it out. And it looks like he can't. Oh, he does put it out. Somewhat delayed. And I think the HE will indeed kill him off. So that's why I switched the Alabama and fire on him. Torpedoes don't hit, but torpedoes will never hit if you never send them. And pulling back. Don't want to run to the island. Of course. The dreaded island. My one true enemy. Enemy Moskva. Ooh. This guy is a big dude. Enemy Moskva is very scary. Very easy to hit at range with his guns, but clearly he's not at range. He's very close. And I'm just going to try and do as much damage as I can. The 203s, now, you know, some people, oh, inertia fuse. Hey, you using an inertia fuse, huh? You using an inertia fuse? So the 203s, they already crossed the important threshold of being able to do damage to the bow and the stern of pretty much every single ship in the game. With HE. AP, completely different story, but HE can do and will do damage to every single bow and stern. And that's the most important threshold, I think. Could I use inertia fuse? Sure. It's going to be a really tiny improvement in a really specific scenario, which, quite frankly, is not worth it. And do you know why it's not worth it? Because it's just not going to get me the kind of damage I'm looking for, and it's 4 points even. I've seen people suggest that, you know, maybe radiolocation is worth taking. No, it's too expensive. Inertia fuse is too expensive if you can't use it at all angles. And you can't use it at all angles after 203 or after, what is it? 180 does benefit, but it's very specific It's like 2 or 3 ships where the bow of the stern it couldn't do it before or something like that. Or yeah, it's something like that. Obviously, inertia fuse helps you pass the threshold on the 152s and the 155, which is great. You unlock the ability to even do damage to the bow and the stern. Clearly, that's very appropriate. There is some... Yeah, look at this aircraft carrier. He wants me so bad. How does it feel? How does it feel, aircraft carrier? You can't have this body. This body's too hot for you. Teammates are doing a good job helping me. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. Honestly, I'm really into the whole idea of taking another level 3 skill and a level 1 skill. Those two combined pretty much are better than every single level 4 item that you might take. Especially if you're not doing secondaries or a battleship AA. I really don't know that there is a better skill other than concealment worth taking over, you know, vigilance, superintendent, demolition expert. I don't know. I don't know that there is. I don't know that there is. Getting priority target and preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance is going to assist you in trying to keep your main guns up, your torpedoes up. You know, that stuff won't break as often. You won't lose out on a little gun rotation. You see there? Bow damage. So, yeah, I'm at that point where after playing all of it, I really... You don't get enough benefit. I've seen people discuss the 240s of the Henry. I just don't think you get enough benefit. It's a very specific situation where you would get benefit, and that sounds bad, right? Deck armor on certain ships, and even those certain ships have weird locations where the deck armor is higher or lower. Yeah, it's just too specialized. Now, I have really looked into, and I do think there is some validity to inertia fuse on a small caliber like the Hobodovsk. That Hobodovsk caliber gun cannot do damage to the bow and the stern of, say, a Des Moines. And we all know how the Des Moines wants to function. The Des Moines loves to go bow on and just attack, right? And it's kind of important that you deal with that. And you can pretty much deal with all the cruisers with inertia fuse. It's way more valid on a Soviet destroyer than it would ever be on a 203 caliber. But it's still a very specific scenario, right? You still can't pass the threshold for battleship bow armor. And yeah, it's you're going to be firing a lot of battleships. You don't really need any more help against them. Which is true. I mean, and people go, oh, well, you're dropping your fire chance way down, way down. Yeah, right. It all depends on your playstyle, right? If you always fire at the deck, then who cares about the bow and the stern armor? You're never going to be in range, right? If you're someone who sits in the back, who cares? Why take survivability expert? You're never going to take damage. Why take vigilance? You're never going to see torpedoes. It's all about the locations that you put yourself in. I am an aggressive player. I try and kill myself, quite frankly, more times than I'm comfortable with. In this game, we did a pretty good job. Zhao, absolutely beast mode. 4 kills, 2,087 base XP. Enemy aircraft carrier absolutely wanted to kill me. We had the most, other than the Essex, in aircraft shot down, and I guarantee you, we had probably one of the worst AA ratings in the game. Well behind even some tier 8s and tier 9s. The Japanese are not AA platforms. All our damage HE. We did get 1 torpedo, which is nice. But overall, it's a solid ship, solid line, Japanese cruiser line, A+. Really fun to play, 1.3 million we were able to avoid. I wouldn't change a single thing. Play it, enjoy it. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.